Namo Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Ashtattara Sata Seshamat His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we will be reading from chapter 10 from Nectar of Devotion, Technique of Hearing and Remembering. Technique of Hearing and Remembering. This is a chapter 10 from Nectar of Devotion. So before we start, so let's pray first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततं जयमुदीरये जयो श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So if you have not listened our previous classes, previous videos, so please check out from our playlist. So today we'll be reading from the Nectar of Devotion, chapter 10, Technique of Hearing and Remembering. Please listen very carefully. Technique of Hearing and Remembering. Hearing. The beginning of the Krishna consciousness and the devotional service is hearing. In Sanskrit called Shravanam. All people should be given a chance to come and join devotional party, so that they may hear this second hearing is very important for progressing the Krishna consciousness. One who can link his ear and the transcendental vibration through an oral reception quickly become purified and cleansed in the heart. Lord Chaitanya has affirmed that uh, his this hearing is very important. It cleansed the heart of the contaminated soul, so that he became quickly qualified to enter into the devotional service and understand Krishna consciousness. In Garuda Purana, the stress of hearing is expressed very nicely. It is said there, the state of conditioned life is a material world is just like that the mad lying unconscious, having been bitten by the snake. This is because both such unconsciousness state can be ended by the sound of mantra. When the man when a man is a snake kind of bitten, he does not die immediately, but first after unconscious and remain is a comatose condition. Anyone who is in the kind of material world is also kind of sleeping, as he is ignorant, as he is ignorant of his actual self, or his actual duty and his relationship with God. So materialistic life means that one is bitten by the snake of Maya illusion. Thus, without any Krishna consciousness, is almost dead. Now, so-called dead man is bitten by the snake and be brought back to life by the chanting of the some mantra. There are expert chanter of this mantra who can perform this feat. Similarly, one can be brought back to Krishna consciousness from the deadly unconscious state of the material life by hearing the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 29 chapter, verse 40, the importance of hearing of the pastime of the Lord is stated by Sukdev Goswami to Maharaj Parikshita. My dear king, one should stay at place where the great Acharya, the holy teacher, speak about the transcendental activity of the Lord. One should give oral reception to the nectarian river flowing from the moon-like faces of such a great personality. If someone eagerly continue to hear such transcendental sound, then certainly he will become free from all material hunger, trust, fear, lamentation, as well as the illusion of material existence. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommended this process of hearing as mean of self-realization in the present age of Kali. In this age, it is very difficult to follow truly the regulative principle and study the Veda, which were formally recommended. However, if one give oral reception to the sound vibrated by the great devotee of Acharya, that alone will give him relief from all material contamination. Therefore, Therefore, it is recommendation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one should simply hear from the authority who are actually devotee of the Lord. Hearing of the professional man will not help. If we hear from those who actually self-realize, then the nectarian river, like those which are flowing on the moon planet, will flow into our ear. This is a metaphor used in the above verse. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the materialistic person can give up his material hankering only by becoming situated in Krishna consciousness. Unless one finds the superior engagement, he will not be able to give up his inferior engagement. In the material world, everyone is engaged in the illusionary activity of the inferior energy. But when one is given the opportunity to release the activity of the superior energy performed by Krishna, then he forgot all his lesser pleasure. When Krishna speak on the battlefield of the Kurukshetra to the materialistic person, it appeared that it simply talk between two friends, but actually it is a river of nectar flowing down from the mouth of Sri Krishna. Arjuna gave the oral reception to such vibration, and thus he become free from all material illusion or material problem. In the 12th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, verse 15, it is stated, a person who desires unalloyed devotional service to Lord Krishna, who is praised by who is praised by transcendental sound vibration, should always hear about his glorification and transcendental quality. This will surely kill all kind of inauspiciousness in the heart, accepting the Lord mercy. In the 10th canto, 14th chapter, verse 8, it is said, my dear Lord, my person who is constantly awaiting your causeless mercy to be bestowed upon him and who goes on suffering the resultant action of his past misdeed, offering you respectful obeisances from the core of his heart, is surely eligible to become liberated, for it has become his rightful claim. This statement of Srimad Bhagavatam should be guide all the devotee. A devotee should not expect immediate relief from all the reaction of his the past misdeed. No conditioned soul is free from such reactionary experience. But material existence means continuing suffering or enjoying the past activity. Continued suffering or enjoyed past activity. If one has finished his material activity, then there is no more birth. This is possible only kind of when one begin Krishna consciousness activity, because such activity do not produce reaction. Therefore, as soon as one become perfect in Krishna conscious activity, he is not going to take birth again in the material world. A devotee who is not perfectly free from the resultant action should therefore continue to act Krishna consciousness seriously, even though there may be more there may be so many impediment. When such impediment arise, he should simply think of Krishna, expect his mercy. That is the only solace. If the devotee can pass his kind of day in that spirit, it is certain that he is going to be promoted to the abode of the Lord. By such activity, he earned his kind of claim to enter in the kingdom of God. The exact word used in this verse is that Dayabag. Dayabag refers to the son becoming the lawful inheritant of the property of the father. In the similar way, a pure devotee who is prepared to undergo all kind turbulence in executing the Krishna conscious duty, become lawful qualified to enter the transcendental abode. Remembrance. Some way or other, if someone establishes in his mind his continuous relationship with Krishna, the relationship is called remembrance. Above this relationship, above this remembrance, there is a nice statement is called Vishnu Purana, where it is said, simply by remembering the Supreme Personality Godhead, all living entity become eligible for all kind of auspiciousness. Therefore, let me Mm, Therefore, let me always remember the Lord who is unborn and eternal. In the Padma Purana, the same remembrance is explained as follows: Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Krishna, because if someone remembers him either at the time of death or during his life of span, he become free from all sinful reaction. Meditation. To meditate means to engage the mind into in the form of Lord, the quality of the Lord, the activity of the Lord, the service of the Lord. Meditation does not mean anything impersonal or void. According to the Vedic literature, meditation is always in form of Vishnu. In the Nrsimha Purana, there is a statement always meditation in the form of the Lord. It is said meditation focusing on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality Godhead has been accepted the transcendental and beyond the experience of the material pain and the pleasure. By such meditation, even one who is the grossly miscreant can be delivered from sinful reaction of his life. In the Vishnu Dharma, there is a statement about the meditation on the transcendental quality of the Lord. It is said, a person who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, who remember the transcendental quality of the Lord, become free from all reaction to sinful activity. After being so cleansed, they become fit to enter into the kingdom of God. In other words, no one enter into the kingdom of God without being free from all sinful reaction. One can avoid sinful reaction simply by remembering the Lord, form, quality, and pastime. In the Padma Purana, there is a statement about the remembering of the activity of the Lord. A person who is always engaged in meditation in the kind of sweet pastime, the wonderful activity of the Lord, surely become free from all material contamination. In some, uh, in some of the Purana, that evidence is given that someone is simply meditating on the devotional activity, he has achieved the desired result and has been faced to face the Supreme Personality Godhead. In this connection, there is a story of the Brahma Vaivarta Purana that in the city of the Pratishthanapura in the South India, there was the kind of once Brahmana who was not very well to do, but who was nevertheless satisfied in himself, thinking that it is the kind of because of his past misdeed by his desire Krishna that he did not get sufficient money and the opulence. So he was not at all sorry for his poor material position, but he used to kind of live very kind of peacefully. He was very open hearted, and sometimes he want to hear some lecture delivered by the great realized soul. At one such a kind of meeting, while he was kind of very faithfully hearing about the Vaishnava activity, he was not informed that this activity can be performed even by the meditation. In other words, if a person is unable to actually perform the Vaishnava activity physically, he can meditate upon the Vaishnava activity, thereby acquire all the same result. Because of the Brahmana was not very kind of well to do financially, he decided that he would kind of simply meditate on God royal devotional activity. He began this business. The sometime he would take his bath in the river Godavari. After taking the bath, he would sit and the considerable placed onto the bank of the river. By the practicing the yoga exercise of pranayana, the usual breathing exercise, he concentrate his mind. These breathing exercises are meant to mechanically fix the mind upon a particular subject. This is the result of the breathing exercise and also the different kind of sitting posture of the yoga. Formerly, even quite ordinary person used to know how to fix the mind upon the remembrance of the Lord. So the Brahmana was doing this. When he had fixed the kind of form of the Lord in the mind, he began to imagine in his meditation that he was addressing the Lord very nicely in costly clothing with the ornament, helmet, and other paraphernalia. Then he offered respectful obeisances by the bowing down before the Lord. After finishing the dressing, he began to imagine that he was cleansing the temple very nicely. After cleansing the temple, he imagined that he had many kind of water jug kind of made into the gold and silver. He kind of took all the jug to the river and filling them with the holy kind of water. Not only did he collect water from the Godavari, but he collected from the Ganges, Yamuna, Narmada, Kaveri. Uh, Generally, Vaishnava, while worshipping the Lord, collect water from all the river by mantra chanting. The Brahmana, instead of the chanting of the mantra, imagine that he was physically securing water from all the river in the golden and the silver pot. Then he collected all kind of paraphernalia for worship, flower, fruit, incense, and sandalwood bulb. He collected everything to place before the deity. All the water and flower scented article were then very nicely offered to the deity to their satisfaction. Then he is offered arati with the regulative principle. He finishes all the activity in the correct worshipping method. He would daily execute the similar performance and as is a routine work, and he continue to so many years. Then one day the Brahmana imagined in his meditation that he had prepared some sweet rice, with the milk and sugar, and offered the preparation to the deity. However, he was not very satisfied with the offering because this sweet rice has been prepared recently. It was still very hot. The preparation sweet rice should not be taken hot. The color of the sweet rice, the bitter, the cooler the sweet rice, the better it tastes. So because the sweet rice had been prepared by the Brahmana very recently, he wanted to touch it so that he could know whether it is fit for eating with the Krishna. As soon as he touched the sweet rice pot with the finger, he immediately was burned by the heat of the pot. In this way, the meditation broke. Now, when he looked at his second finger, he saw that it was burned. He was wondering in the astonishing how this could have happened, because he was simply meditating on touching the hot sweet rice. He never thought that his finger would actually become burned. While he was thinking like this, in Vaikuntha, Lord Narayana, seated with a goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, began to smile humorously. On seeing this smiling of the Lord, all the goddess of the fortune attending to the Lord become very curious and asked Lord Narayana while he was smiling. The Lord, however, did not reply to their inquisitiveness, but instead immediately sent for a Brahmana. And an airplane sent from Vaikuntha immediately brought the Brahmana into the Lord Narayana's presence. When the Brahmana was thus present before the Lord and the goddess of fortune, Lord explained the whole story. The Brahmana was then fortunate enough to get the eternal place in the Vaikuntha in the association of the Lord and his Lakshmis. This shows how the Lord is all pervading. In spite of his being locally situated in the abode, although the Lord was present in the Vaikuntha, he was present also in the heart of the Brahmana. Even he was meditating the worshipping process. Thus, we can understand that things offered by the devotee, even in meditation, are accepted by the Lord and by the Lord, and they help one achieve the desired result. And they help one achieve the desired result. So here we concluded reading of Bhaktivedanta Purport. I hope all you understood. Now let's jump.
All right. In this explainer, we're diving into a really fascinating pathway to spiritual awakening that comes from Vedic philosophy. It's all built on three core devotional practices, so let's jump right in. But let's kick things off with a pretty wild question. What if this life you're living right now, all the good stuff, all the bad stuff, what if it's all just a kind of spiritual dream? What if we're all, in a really fundamental way, just sleeping? It's a heavy thought, I know, but it's at the very heart of the problem we're about to unpack. You know, the ancient Garuda Purana has this incredible analogy for this. It says our normal, everyday life is like being unconscious after a snake bite. Think about that. You're not dead, but you're definitely not fully alive or aware either. You're in this kind of coma, totally oblivious to who you really are. So that leads us right to our first big idea, this serpent of illusion. To figure out the cure, you've got to understand the poison first, right? So what exactly is this metaphorical snake we're talking about? Well, in Sanskrit, the word for it is Maya. That's the snake of illusion. And it's not just about seeing things that aren't there, like a magic trick. It's way deeper. It's a fundamental ignorance about our true selves and our connection to the divine. And this ignorance is what leads to that spiritually unconscious life. So if that's the problem, what's the antidote? Well, it's pretty cool, actually. Just like how certain mantras are traditionally used to fight off the venom of a real snakebite, this philosophy says there's a special antidote made of sound, a specific vibration that's designed to wake us up from this spiritual sleep. And the whole process starts with something called shravanam. Now, that's just a Sanskrit word that means hearing. Simple, right? But it's seen as the absolute foundation, the act of plugging your ears into these transcendental vibrations. And the whole point? To clean out the heart from all that contamination of Maya.
But here's the thing, and this is super important. It's not just what you hear, it's who you hear it from. The texts draw a really sharp line here. They say that hearing from genuine, self-realized teachers, they're called acharyas, that has the power to actually cleanse your heart. But hearing from, professional men, people who might be super smart but don't have that spiritual insight, well, it just won't work. It doesn't have that same power.
And I love this metaphor they use. This secret sound is described as a nectarian river. It's not just data or information, it's actual spiritual nourishment. It's something that can genuinely satisfy that deep hunger and thirst we all feel. And here it is. This is the specific sound, the primary antidote mentioned in the source. This is the Maha Mantra, the great mantra. The idea is that hearing and chanting this vibration is what can actually wake the soul up from the snakebite of illusion. Okay, so hearing is step one, but that's not the whole story. The next piece of the puzzle is all about having the right attitude, an attitude that helps you really receive this grace and turn hearing into real, deep understanding. Now, this next part might sound a little backwards at first. The recommended attitude is to patiently deal with the consequences of your past actions. The karma that we all have to face, but at the very same time, to be constantly and faithfully waiting for divine mercy. It's this amazing mix of taking responsibility while also having total trust. And there's a really good reason for this patience. It's because it qualifies you to become something called a daya buck. So this term literally refers to a son who becomes the legal heir to his father's property. In the same way, a devotee who keeps this faithful, patient attitude becomes lawfully qualified to inherit a place in the spiritual world. And it's this qualification that sets the stage for the deepest practice of them all. All right, so that brings us to the final and maybe the most powerful practice of all, meditation. And get this, to show just how real and tangible this can be, the text tells an absolutely incredible story. But hold on, before we dive into the story, we need to be really clear about what meditation means here, because it's probably not what you're thinking. In this tradition, meditation isn't about making your mind blank or focusing on nothingness. It's an active, engaged process. You're using your mind to think about the Lord's form, his qualities, his activities. It's deeply personal and full of rich details. Okay, so the story goes like this. There's this poor priest, a brahmana, in South India. And he didn't have any money or resources. He couldn't do all the fancy temple worship. But he learned that you could perform all of those same devotional acts just as powerfully, right inside your own mind. So he thought, okay, that's what I'll do. And I'm telling you, this guy's mental worship was on another level. For years, he would just sit by the river and concentrate. He'd imagine dressing the deity, scrubbing the temple clean, and gathering secret water from holy rivers in these imaginary gold and silver pots. Then one day, his meditation got even more specific. He decided to prepare a special dish of sweet rice. So he prepares the sweet rice, all in his mind, and he offers it to the Lord. But then he gets this thought. Wait a minute. It's fresh. It's probably way too hot. He was so deep in his devotion, he was genuinely worried the Lord might find it too hot to eat. So, still completely lost in his meditation, he reaches out with his finger to check the temperature of the imaginary pot. And right then, bam! He feels this searing pain in his finger. It was so real, so intense, that it just completely shattered his concentration. Meditation over. So he snaps out of it, looks down at his hand, and he's just floored. His finger is actually physically burnt. And at that exact same moment, way off in the spiritual world, in his home, Lord Narayana, who's been watching this whole thing, just starts to smile at this man's incredible, sincere devotion. And that's not even the end of it. The Lord is so pleased, he sends a celestial airplane to go pick up the Brahmana and bring him straight to Vaikuntha, the eternal abode. His service, done purely in his mind but with so much focus and love, earned him a permanent place in the spiritual world. Wow, what a story, right? So, what does it all mean? It really points to this incredible place where your mind and your reality, well, they just meet. The line gets incredibly thin. The main takeaway here is just mind-blowing. Sincere devotional acts, even if they're just happening in your mind, are accepted as totally real. The idea is that because the Lord is everywhere, out in the world and inside our hearts, a really focused meditative offering can be just as real and powerful as a physical one. So let's just recap this whole pathway to waking up. It starts with hearing the right kind of sound to wake us up from that snakebite of illusion. That's supported by an attitude of patient faith, which makes you a lawful inheritor of divine grace. And finally, that leads to this incredibly focused meditation, which, as we've seen, can literally bridge the gap between thought and reality. And that leaves us with one last thing to really think about. I mean, the story of the Brahmana is pretty dramatic, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If his focused thought could literally cause a physical burn, what's the true limit of our own intention? What can we really accomplish if we just focus our minds?